Friends and viewer, Ragtime by E.L. Doctorow. This is the novel. This novel opens in 1902 in the town of New Ruchila, New York, at the house of an upper-class family comprised of mother, father, and the little boy. Mother's younger brother falls in love with the famous beauty Evelyn Nesbit, whose husband Harry Thaw has recently been charged with the murder of ex-husband. Architect Stanford White, how Harry Houdini's car breaks in front of the family house and he pays them a visit. Father leaves on a trip to the Arctic with explorer party. An immigrant family consisting of Mame, Tate, and the little girl live in the Lower East Side in utter poverty. Evelyn Nesbit visits the Lower East Side where she becomes enchanted with Tate's daughter, and soon her visit becomes regular. The little girl becomes ill and Evelyn cares for her. Mother, younger brother begins to follow Evelyn everywhere without her knowledge. Tate, Evelyn, Nesbit, and the little girl attend a socialist meeting whose featured speaker, Emma Goldman, criticizes Evelyn for employing her sexuality to gain prominence in capitalistic society. Mother rescues and claims responsibility for a newborn baby she discovered buried alive in her backyard. She soon learns it is a child of a black washwoman named Sarah. Evelyn Nesbit and mother's younger brother start to see a lot of one another. Mother's younger brother helps Evelyn search for Tate and his little girl, but to no avail. Tate and his daughter happily leave New York City and travel to the western seaboard. Meanwhile, Houdini learns how to fly planes and performs a demonstration for Archduke Franz Ferdinand and Countess Sophia. Father experiences a feeling of profound isolation upon his return to New Ruchile. Mother's younger brother becomes proficient in the use of bombs. Tate and his little girl travel to Lawrence, Massachusetts, where there is a strike against the textile mills, and continue to many other cities. In Philadelphia, Tate finds a novelty store where the owner agrees to buy the movie books Tate has invented. Tate decided they will return to Lawrence to settle down. Henry Ford pays a lunch visit to J.P. Morgan, and they discuss technology and religion. One afternoon, a black man named Coolhouse Walker stops by their home in New Rochelle, asking to see Sarah, who refuses to see him. After a Coolhouse continues to call on her every Sunday, Sarah finally accepts his proposal for marriage. One day, Coolhouse Walker is driving to New York when volunteers from the Emerald Isle farmhouse bar his path. While Coolhouse seeks help from the police, the volunteer wrecks his car. When Coolhouse complains, he is arrested. Coolhouse dedicates the funds he originally intended for his wedding towards securing a lawyer. However, he cannot find a lawyer willing to represent him. One night, Sarah leaves the house to attend an event at which Mr. Taft, vice president, would be present. She wishes to petition the federal government on Coolhouse's behalf. However, the Secret Service man hit her hard in the chest. She soon grows ill and dies. Coolhouse and his followers cause an explosion at the Emerald Isle farmhouse, killing 4 volunteers, father and mother's younger brother, fight over the situation, and mother's younger brother leaves the household to join Coolhouse and his follower. Mother and father move to Atlantic City to escape the scrutiny of the townspeople. Willie Conklin also begins to feel a lot of pressure to leave town. Mother and father meet Tatia in Atlantic City, and the little boy and the little girl soon begin to spend a lot of time together. Cool House and his follower break into the library of J.P. Morgan, who is abroad at the time. The district attorney, Charles S. Whiteman, calls Coolhouse, who reiterates to him his original demand that they return his vehicle and that Conklin dies of Sarah's death. Booker T. Washington attempts to persuade Coolhouse to end his siege, but soon leaves out of frustration. Father then meets with Coolhouse and approaches Whiteman with his demand, at which point Whiteman presents Coolhouse with both his Model T and Willie Conklin. After his followers leave free of punishment, Coolhouse exits Morgan House, and father, still inside, hears the firing squad. Police report that Coolhouse had made an attempt at escaping, but he more likely made a slight movement that he knew would cause his death. Mother's younger brother, having secured the use of Coolhouse Model T, travels all around the country and soon to Mexico, where he joins revolutionary forces and dies about a year later. As tension in Europe develops, World War I approaches. Morgan travels to Egypt, where he hopes a visit to the pyramid will restore his sense of spirituality. Rather, he cannot sleep and becomes disheartened by his failure to experience what he has expected. Soon his health rapidly deteriorates and he dies. The narrator described the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand and Countess Sophia. Father dies abroad, the Louisiana, and the year after his death, Tate and mother marry each other. So this is the story of Ragtime by E.L. Doctorow. And this is a novel, and by genre, it's an historical fiction novel written in English and written in United States in 1970s. So the setting place of this novel is New York City, New Rochelle, New York, Lawrence, Massachusetts, the pyramids of Egypt. The protagonist of the novel, the role of the protagonist is shared by all the main characters. Major conflict in this novel is Coolhouse Walker attempts to execute a revolution while father and his family react to the changing times. Rising action of this novel's father voyage to the North Pole, Conklin's damage of Coolhouse Walker's car. Climax of this novel is Coolhouse seizure of Morgan's residence. Falling action is Coolhouse death. Theme of this novel is the difficulty of accepting the change, the struggle for stability and meaning, the impact of technological development on culture, imprisonment, and false liberation. Motives of this novel is this nature of historical truth, the motion, the ambiguity of the narrative voice. So this is the novel Ragtime by E.L. Doctorow. I hope you will enjoy this. Thank you very much.